boys and girls, and welcome to Let's Talk Fandom as we continue 31 Days of Halloween. Last time I talked about the first 7 movies. The next 7 are a bit more of a mixed bag. The first one I'm talking about is called Scary Stories, the one and only documentary on this series. Scary Stories tells the story of the making of Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, the book, and the influence it's had on people like R.L. Stine and others. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark is a movie I have not seen, but I have read at least 2 of the books. I think there's 3 total, and of course it's highly influential in that genre, especially when it comes to kids and the art in general. The documentary is interesting, though kind of dry. It's not one I say was fully engaging to me, but it was interesting to hear the different viewpoints of different people, and you know, if you're really into that book, you'll be really into the documentary. It's decently well made. It's just kind of dry for me, so it's just okay. Next one, it's called Identity. This one was recommended by my my buddy Steve, who we also call Fudge Ripple. This movie stars people like Ray Liotta and so on, and I thought it was fascinating. It's these people basically get trapped at a motel with a serial killer, and then you know, people start getting killed after he escapes, and it's really fascinating. My only problem with this one is I figured out the end well before the movie wanted me to. Before it revealed it or even hinted at it, I figured it out like within the first 5 minutes, which is something my wife does a lot with movies. But the movie itself was well made. It was one of my favorites, especially in the first couple of days. It was fun. It's not too gory, and the suspense is really well done, and it has a lot of heart. And I think the ending was good. Is great. Pretty good. The next one is called The Belko Experiment. It is one of 2 James Gunn movies that went through this week. What can I say about Belko Experiment? Having taken psychology classes, this type of experiment we do study about, and all I can say about this movie is it is nuts. Think Office Space if everyone started killing each other. It's gory, it's crazy, it's not for those with weak stomachs. But if you like movies like Super and Slither and so on, I think you'll enjoy Belko well enough. It's not a great movie. It's not an amazing movie, but it's a decent one. The next one is also a James Gunn produced movie. It's called Brightburn, which is basically what if Superman came and instead of being good, he was evil, and dark superhero movie. This movie I wouldn't really call scary. It is kind of horrifying. It is dark, and it is very well made in the tropes that it's trying to do. Honestly, the biggest thing that freaked me out in this one was glass in someone's eyeball, and then pulling it out. It's gross. I really do not like that type of experience, but you can't really judge a movie just from glass in the eyeball. The movie's decent. It's kind of excessively gory in some ways, like in ways that it didn't really need to be. I'm not quite sure if people actually do that, but when it shines, it really shines, and it's a lot of fun. I do hope, I wish it had made more money, because I would like to see where the end tease where that could have led us to other things, but it didn't. So it's a one and done, and as a one and done, it's not great, but it's good. Next one is a movie called Escape Room, which basically takes the idea of an escape room and makes it a horror film where they basically have to escape or die. This movie I describe as Saw-light. It is very much like a Saw movie where people are all in there for a reason. They're all being manipulated by an outside force on a camera for a reason. And, you know, there's death traps and so on all throughout, but this time it's in the form of an escape room. And it's a PG-13 movie, so it's not really gore, though people do die. And of course, it sets itself up for a sequel. The only thing it's missing is a puppet on a tricycle, which I think would have been really awesome if they had done that. But it was decent, not great. I had fun. It was not a great movie, though. But better than most Saw movies, that for sure. Next one is it's called Beneath Us. It's a 2020 film. Basically, the basic premise of this movie is illegal Mexican immigrants are picked up by a family to do some construction in their house. And the family doesn't let them go until the construction is done, using threats, you know, basically of killing them or reporting them, not paying them, and so on. And, you know, basically tortures a bunch of illegal immigrants. I did not love this movie. I can't say I even fully enjoyed this movie. I had a very hard time engaging to it. I live in Arizona, where these type of people, I'm assuming, do exist, and I know that it was made in Arizona by Arizonans. I was not a fan. Maybe it struck too close to home, but I really did not care for it, and it wasn't really that engaging. None of the acting performances were great, and I don't think the ending was earned. But it is a 2020 film. It's called Beneath Us. And last but not least, probably my favorite of the week, was called Mama, directed by Andy Muschietti, and it's helped being made by producer Guillermo del Toro. This movie feels like the heart and soul of Guillermo del Toro and Andy Muschietti, who give all their films heart. You know, the It movies had a lot of heart. Guillermo del Toro wears it on his sleeve with everything he does, and this is an old school movie. In the way that it scares you with more what you don't see than what you do. A lot of stuff moving in the background, out of focus. Um, Story with focusing on family and emotion like love and so on, which is something Guillermo del Toro really focuses on. I loved it. Now this is a film that if you try to think about the plot, don't don't do that. It doesn't want you to. Don't think about what's going on or the consequences or how they get out of it. Just enjoy the movie for what it is. It is very well made. It's very well shot. The acting performances are well done. It's probably the best performance I've ever had from Jessica Chastain, who I don't see a lot of movies I see with her. I think of her as she's kind of stuck up and looks kind of constipated as she talks. But this movie, I actually quite enjoyed her performance a lot. And of course, it has Nicholas Waldo, the guy who's Jaime Lannister in Game of Thrones. And of course, the kids and the Witcher stuff. I wasn't really the biggest fan of the creature design, though the creature use I loved. And the story I thought was pretty well earned, though, as I said, don't think about the plot. It's kind of choppy and has holes. But the movie I loved, I adored it, and I really like old school scares like this one, and I think you would too. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is the second batch. So, these are going to be coming really quickly because I have seen these movies, and I continue going down weird roads in the future as I try to mix it up as I go, and I think the next one might be the weirdest yet. Stay tuned.